Companies are in 5 stages of DEI maturity: initiating, aligning, progressing, building, and scaling. So in the initiating phase, you want to grow DEI in your organization, but don't know where to start. Aligning, starting to increase awareness, buy-in, and training around DEI issues in your organization, but you're still dealing with the uphill hurdle of getting everyone on the same page. Progressing, starting to adopt practices that strengthen levels of trust, safety, and belonging needed for an inclusive culture. Building, starting to establish equitable processes, policies, and goals across your organization. And this is when you start to kind of take it out of HR, what people traditionally believe is supposed to be like delegating DEI, is when you start to actually embrace DEI as a whole thing in your organization. And finally, the scaling, systematically integrating DEI into your revenue generating and distribution efforts. So how you make your money and how you pay your folks. The interesting thing is, what we wanted to share with folks is that there is a progression of DEI initiatives, or an ideal progression, right? The idea that you would go from initiating and go into scaling. Now, we call it an ideal progression because we try to communicate that this is still a non-linear process. It can go back and forth just like stairs. Stairs go both up and down, right? So you can see this sense of being able to know that you can go backwards sometimes, and you can go forward, and you can be going from initiating to scaling and back and forth, up and down, right? So just know that we're still saying DEI, or embedding it is still a wild journey, and say thank you all for going on different versions of that journey to start progressing towards a scaling phase within your organization. Now, when we talk about this progress, we also want to look at who are the people, or where are certain decisions being made to really allow this journey to continue. So in initiating phase, it's important. This is where leaders may initiate it based on, for example, a lot of folks initiated DEI things after the murder of George Floyd. So leaders kind of came to the enlightenment moment and decided to initiate processes in their organization. And then when we start to get to aligning, it requires the team. And then when you have leaders in the team together, then we start to go, as we go to progressing, we're starting to build a culture where this can actually be embedded. And then ideally, it becomes organizational, it becomes operationalized in our organization. That's really what happens with the scaling. Now, I would love to tell you that this is what happened, and that many people went from a leader saying, hey, let's do this, to the organization adopting it. This is what a version of what that could look like, thinking through this thing that if we were going towards building DEI and we're looking at what's on the other side of DEI, we would say what's on the other side is thriving. So we would have to be looking at a journey that gets people all from initiating, because we all have to start an initiating process, and gets folks towards thriving. Now, this is one version of what it could look like. If you had a leader who says, great, we're going to take the whole team towards thriving, it's still going to be a wavy type of journey, but what if we can get it to where folks felt like we actually were reaching these milestones, we were scaling? You can actually ask your team, where are we? And there's 100% of people say, yeah, we're in scaling. We're still doing the hard work. It's not over, but we're all 100% alignment. We have not found those teams yet. We have found many, many teams where this is happening. The leader is still initiating. The leader is still stuck where they may not understand the business case. They may not be affected by it. Whatever the reasons, they're still stuck in aligning, and they're ping-ponging back and forth, which is why we say it's a non-linear journey. They're ping-ponging back and forth, and there's people on their team who says, hey, I would love to go further. We can take this further, but they're not even getting the permission, or they're getting this kind of soft level of like, yeah, go do it. But then when they actually start to do the work, it's like, whoa, what do you mean? What do you mean we need to do this? We need to do that. I didn't approve that. So I'll tell you right now, the most important thing that leaders need to understand is that controlling leadership is the bottleneck to progress and thriving in your organization. There's literally no way your team's going to go forward without your consent, without your support, without your allyship to actually make this journey.